Post-training notice. National First Class Registered Exorcist. Extra Chapter. Yaoguia Mobilization, Part 2. Everyone followed Chen Zhen out. After having guests over, the living room was a mess. Zhi Xiaoduo started mopping the floor, while Xiang Cheng lay on the sofa in a daze. "Do you want to have a late-night snack?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked. "I'll cook a pack of Nissan ramen for you to eat." Xiang Cheng said, "Pack up and stay at my house tonight, ba. Come over here." Zhi Xiaoduo finished mopping and came over to lie on Xiang Cheng. Xiang Cheng kissed Zhi Xiaoduo and then focused his gaze on his eyes. "You plan to help him, right?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked. "N." Xiang Cheng said, "Did their incident move you?" Zhi Xiaoduo snuggled up against Xiang Cheng's shoulder, playing with the diamond ring on his slender finger, splaying his fingers wide and pressing them against his big hand. "The words he said," Xiang Cheng said, "made me feel like the relationship between you and I is similar." "Which words?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked casually. "Fate brought us together," Xiang Cheng replied. "Fate brought us together." Zhi Xiaoduo had already felt the twists and turns of fate more than once, and he seemed to have returned to his own real world overnight. Even though a group of exorcists and 2 vampires had a meeting recently in their small living room to deal with a black knight possessed by a dragon. After they left, everything still returned to its original state. What was left was Xiang Cheng, with a bandage wrapped around his head and a dirty suit, and his bored self. "Let's go, ba," Xiang Cheng said. "Let's go home. We don't need to pack up the stuff here, we have all that at home. I'm actually used to this place now." Zhi Xiaoduo didn't know whether to cry or laugh, but Xiang Cheng's place was home. He packed up and carefully packed the moonlight stone and then went out with Xiang Cheng. A limousine had already parked outside the door, and Huang Shen respectfully opened the door, taking them back to the villa. A group of pandas were pulling up banners at the door with "Welcoming His Majesty and the Empress back home," lining up to applaud, and even preparing trampolines and swings. "There's no need to perform a show," Xiang Cheng was annoyed right now and had the pandas head back. When Xiang Cheng came in with a bandage wrapped around his head, the pandas laughed wildly. Xiang Cheng frowned deeply, but Zhi Xiaoduo found it really funny and laughed along with the pandas. Everything at home was still the same, with all the familiar formulas and flavors. Zhi Xiaoduo rummaged through boxes and cabinets, found a special ointment, and treated Xiang Cheng's injuries. The wound medicine provided by the Exorcist Committee worked very well, and it didn't take long for wounds to fully heal when applied. The little mandrill came over and reached out for a hug. Meanwhile the pandas were outside the door, laughing a lot and sneaking peeks at His Majesty eating shit. Xiang Cheng didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Zhi Xiaoduo picked up the little mandrill and asked, "How long has it been since you've been back home?" "I haven't returned since the day we parted ways," Xiang Cheng replied. "They all missed you." "Empress, do you want some late-night snacks?" a panda asked. Eat, eat, eat." Zhi Xiaoduo said, "Whatever you want to eat, go open the refrigerator yourself." The pandas cheered and jumped up to find food as they prepared a welcome party. The living room was lit with warm lights, and Lang Dog lay on the ground, while Xiang Cheng and Zhi Xiaoduo each put on some wound medicine. Zhi Xiaoduo rested his foot against Lang Dog's head and leaned comfortably against Xiang Cheng. "There's someone I like," said Zhi Xiaoduo. "Who keeps a silly dog?" "Whose poem is that?" Xiang Cheng asked. "Mine," Zhi Xiaoduo smiled, holding a moonlight stone anklet in his hand. He undid the rope that Xiang Cheng had casually tied on it and rethreaded it through. "What do you think it's looking for us for?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked. "Sigui," Xiang Cheng replied. "N." Zhi Xiaoduo said, "But no one knows the whereabouts of Sigui right now." "It's always there, right beside you," Xiang Cheng said. "It's just that we don't need it right now, so it won't show up." "Why?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked, I really hope to see it. If Sigui can transform into a person, he should be a very handsome guy. Try calling it, Xiang Cheng said. When it was reborn, you were the one who accompanied it. It's the same as bestowing a name on a dragon, you have a special connection with it. Zhi Xiaoduo replied, but there were many people present at that time. Everyone was there. It's not the same. Xiang Cheng hugged Zhi Xiaoduo and said, you were the closest to it. Zhi Xiaoduo said, it should be Wan Yuanji who was closest to it. Whenever she used her phone to record videos, she tended to approach Sigui. Xiang Cheng smiled and said, it's most fated for you ba. Zhi Xiaoduo said, but later on, I didn't see it come to save me, did I? That's because your life was not in danger, Xiang Cheng said. In short, you and Sigui have a hidden connection. From the first time you met, you were destined to be the one who accompanied it during its rebirth. Of course, at that time, everyone was destined for that, but your bond with it was the deepest. Looking back, it seemed like this was indeed the case. From the moment he had first met Xiang Cheng, this bird had frequently appeared in his life. Sigui had saved them more than once, and in the end, when it was reborn amidst the flames and spread its wings out to fly far away, Zhi Xiaoduo didn't even have time to say thank you to it. How can we find it? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Xiang Cheng shrugged and replied, with your heart. Zhi Xiaoduo. Xiang Cheng laughed and hugged Zhi Xiaoduo, saying, it depends on fate ba. Let's go, get in bed and sleep. The lights in the villa had all gone out, leaving behind the colorful lights in the garden and on the roof flashing away. There were also light boards made by the pandas on the roof, with a crooked ba snake on the left and a fish on the right and the big words welcome in the middle. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Winter had arrived, amidst this peace and tranquility. In the deepest part of the darkness, a naked man stumbled forward, covered in sludge from the sewer. Completely exhausted, he knelt on the ground, then plopped to the ground. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Where is Sigui? Zhi Xiaoduo tried very hard to dream about it, but there were no signs given to him. We can't procrastinate anymore, we must immediately eliminate this hidden danger. The next afternoon, Chen Zhen and the others arrived again. They had searched all night and found nothing, and they were all yawning. Does Dane have a way to track Lord Han? Kita asked Chen Hao. Chen Hao shrugged and said, yes, but he has hidden all traces of himself away. Where would he hide? Everyone's head hurt, but Xiang Cheng seemed completely indifferent to this matter. He sat at the table drinking milk, reading Zhi Xiaoduo's magical artifact designs. He could tell that they could soon use the moonlight stones. Zhi Xiaoduo sat on the carpet with his back against Lang Dog, holding an iPad, writing and drawing. Xiaoduo, what are you doing? Qi Wei asked. Zhi Xiaoduo showed them the iPad, which contained a satellite map of the area around the sacred land. I don't think Lord Han will appear again in the short term, Zhi Xiaoduo said. He may take you as a hostage, Kita said. Zhi Xiaoduo, no, assuming that he was controlled by that dragon at the time, that dragon wouldn't want to encounter us again because it knows we have something in our hands that could restrain it. Xiang Cheng nodded and Zhi Xiaoduo said, when Sigui was reborn, all of you saw that. Everyone remained silent, and Zhi Xiaoduo said, having just been reborn, Sigui is just a small bird who can't fly far. Where will it go? Actually, I also found this very strange, Chen Zhen said. In theory, Sigui should be accompanying Xiaoduo and Xiang Cheng. It's not what you think, Xiang Cheng finally answered after reading through the designs. After a phoenix is reborn, it will be a new life, unlike Fengli and the immortal Jiao who feel attachment towards the past. You could say that the current Sigui is already not the same Sigui as before. It doesn't have any attachments at all. Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Perhaps there's a little bit, Xiang Cheng said, but I never knew what it was truly thinking. Zhi Xiaoduo said, it needs to find a place to start a new life, right? N. Xiang Cheng glanced at Zhi Xiaoduo. Zhi Xiaoduo said, so, it won't hide in a completely unfamiliar environment. I think it should find a place that's familiar to it. Perhaps, Xiang Cheng nodded and said. Zhi Xiaoduo picked up his bag and said, let's go ba, maybe we can find it soon. Zhi Xiaoduo took out the crystal and let the sacred land know to open the doors. Chen Zhen and others were all fine, and all of them followed suit. The sacred land had already finished with renovations and was only waiting for Zhi Xiaoduo and Xiang Cheng to unveil it. The Corpse Ghost King was preparing for a drone competition on the opening day. Is it all ready? The Corpse Ghost King asked. Not yet, but soon. Xiang Cheng led Zhi Xiaoduo by hand and quickly walked down from the center of the temple. The others greeted the Corpse Ghost King as they passed by one after another. Xiang Cheng turned back and said, notify the troops to stand by, there may be another battle. The Corpse Ghost King snapped his fingers to signal he acknowledged the order, and everyone gathered in the spacious square. Xiang Cheng turned into an azure dragon, and Zhi Xiaoduo rode on the dragon's head. Their other companions all sat on the dragon's body, and the azure dragon rose straight up from the crack at the top of the sacred land. Do you know where to go? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Of course I know, Xiang Cheng's voice said. They passed by Mount Wu, and Xian Hezi let out a yo-ha and said, this is the first time I've sat on great immortal Xiang. Don't wiggle around, Zhi Xiaoduo said, be careful not to fall. Xiang Cheng's voice said, hold on tight. Immediately everyone yelled together as the azure dragon turned sideways, throwing its entire body straight down into the valley. Zhi Xiaoduo laughed heartily, and at a height of 50 meters from the ground, the azure dragon finally flew up again, slowly approaching an empty resort in the valley. What is this place? Qi Wei asked. My former home, Xiang Cheng replied, it was later demolished and converted into a resort. It has been under construction for so long and has still not yet been completed, Kita said. I remember passing by here when we came to the sacred land. We bought it later. Zhi Xiaoduo jumped off the dragon head and searched around the resort. He saw that the glass door that he and Xiang Cheng had broken last time had not been repaired, and the inside was already so overgrown that monkeys could live here. Sigui dash. Sigui. The group dispersed and searched everywhere, but Xiang Cheng remained in the shape of a dragon, suspended on a tree stump. Across from the stump was his former home, which had now been converted into a swimming pool. Sigui. Are you here? Zhi Xiaoduo shouted. The azure dragon opened its mouth and let out a long and deep dragon roar. Everyone immediately retreated, and as the dragon's power shook the sky and earth, all the glass shattered at the same time, flying away like comets. The scene was spectacular, and Zhi Xiaoduo had not yet regained his senses when the azure dragon turned around and said, it's not here, let's go. Everyone climbed onto the back of the azure dragon again, and a blue light spread along the dragon's horns, forming a barrier to protect them from the wind. The azure dragon ascended into the clouds, facing the golden sunlight and rolling sea of clouds, flying towards the east. Where are we going now? Xian Hezi asked. To a nearby place where we used to live, said Zhi Xiaoduo. Even if it's reborn and wants to start a new life, it would still pick a place that it likes to live. Well, at least that's how I feel. The azure dragon was hovering over Beijing, and Chen Zhen said, don't be too high profile. Chen Zhen took out a small flag from his bag and waved it back and forth 3 times. The sky under the clouds immediately darkened, and the azure dragon slowly descended, landing on the rooftop of a residential building before transforming back into human form. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Beijing, the lights were shining brightly. I don't think it can live in this place. Zhi Xiaoduo didn't know whether to cry or laugh. In early winter, trees outside had crows everywhere. Not necessarily. The corners of Xiang Cheng's lips turned up, and he said to Zhi Ziaduo, "Have you noticed any characteristics of every place we live in?" Zhi Ziaduo didn't actually notice. Every time he moved, it was Xiang Cheng who was renting a house. Xiang Cheng pointed to the street tree outside and said, "Didn't you notice that this tree was also planted at home in Guangzhou?" "Ah!" Zhi Ziaduo said in surprise, "It's the same tree." "Is it, a parasol tree?" N. Xiang Cheng said, "The phoenix perches on the parasol tree." Chen Zhen notified the landlord in the Beijing shared rental building to come and open the door for them, and Zhi Ziaduo couldn't help but think of the time when he lived here with Xiang Cheng. Their first time had been in this tiny rental room. That night, Kita and Xiang Cheng drank a bottle of wine that Chen Zhen had given them, and from then on their lives became completely different. When we were dealing with the Jixian case, we discussed it here. Chen Zhen recalled the previous incident. Xiang Cheng said, "You brat, you're nothing good. The bottle of wine you gave Laozi to drink ruined all the romance." "What case?" Xian Hezi asked in confusion. "What kind of wine?" "It's none of your business," Zhi Ziaduo hurriedly said. "This is our secret." "Nothing," Xiang Cheng said, "let's go." *******. Zhengzhou, early morning. The members of the special action team yawned and stopped at the entrance of the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, a group of aunties were doing square dancing, holding their fans in a stylish manner. "Hey? The young man is back?" an auntie asked. "I'm not looking for a date." Xiang Cheng hurriedly said, Thank you, thank you." Zhi Ziaduo stood under a parasol tree, looked up, and shouted, "See Gui." There were no birds nesting in it. Zhi Ziaduo asked the aunties, and one of them said that there was indeed a bird that came over a few days ago, but it was hit by a child with a slingshot and never returned. "It must be it." Zhi Ziaduo said, "Where could it be? It has come and then gone." In the midst of winter, the azure dragon flew with them over Chongqing, Beijing, and Zhengzhou, before finally returning to Guangzhou. However, they still couldn't find any trace of Si Gui, so everyone treated this as nothing more than a big circle they had taken in the sky. Chen Zhen planned to continue to find ways to determine Lorcan's whereabouts, while the others dispersed. "Do you want to go back home and take a look?" Xiang Cheng asked. "They're all rented out now, ba," Zhi Ziaduo said. Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo stood downstairs in the residential area where Zhi Ziaduo had rented a house a long time ago. That was the first place that Zhi Ziaduo had moved into after they had met, and it was also the place where they had first started living together. "Hey! Wait!" Zhi Ziaduo chased after Xiang Cheng, who quickly walked upstairs. Zhi Ziaduo whispered, "Don't go in." Xiang Cheng casually pressed on the anti-theft door, and the lock automatically clicked open. Zhi Ziaduo. Xiang Cheng opened the door. The house was clean and completely neat. There was an ashtray on the coffee table, and the wooden floor was sprinkled with the glow of sunset. The window screen was slightly rolled up by the wind. "I already bought it," Xiang Cheng said. "After returning to Guangzhou, I asked Huang Shan to buy up the house and furniture all at once." Zhi Ziaduo couldn't help but laugh. He discovered that almost nothing had changed here since he had moved out. Yaoguia probably came over to clean this place regularly. He began to doubt his inference Si Gui was unlikely to be here. Perhaps in Si Gui's long life, Xiang Cheng and Zhi Ziaduo counted as nothing more than two mere passerby. He walked towards the balcony and remembered that Si Gui had flown in from here, carrying a sparkling powder that made him rediscover the universe. Seriously though, it was the messenger who had led Zhi Ziaduo into this new world. "I remember when you hadn't exposed your identity yet," Zhi Ziaduo said with a smile. "Si Gui often came to our house to eat and drink." N. Xiang Cheng hugged Zhi Ziaduo from behind and said, "It likes Thai rice. Actually, I suspect it followed you because it likes to eat the food you cook." Zhi Ziaduo smiled. Xiang Cheng suddenly shushed him and gestured for Zhi Xiaoduo to take a look. At the corner of the balcony railing, next to the flower pot, there was the small plate that Zhi Xiaoduo had used to feed Sigui. A few crumbs were sprinkled on it. Zhi Xiaoduo. Who is responsible for cleaning this place? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. Xiang Cheng wanted to call Huang Shan, but Zhi Xiaoduo changed his mind and said, let's wait ba, even if it isn't Sigui. Xiang Cheng thought about it and had some Yaoguia buy groceries and bring them over. They started cooking together in their old home, just like the days they used to spend together. Zhi Xiaoduo ate while occasionally glancing at the balcony, and the dusk cast a purple-red border on the mountains. However, Sigui never appeared. Eat ba, Xiang Cheng said. Don't worry about it. After eating, Xiang Cheng went to wash dishes, and the caller ID on his phone showed that it was Dane. Zhi Xiaoduo answered for Xiang Cheng. Have you guys found it? Dane asked. No, what about you? Zhi Xiaoduo asked. No. Dane let out a sigh, as if feeling a bit helpless. Who is it? Xiang Cheng was washing dishes and turned around to ask. Zhi Xiaoduo waved his hand, indicating that he didn't need to mind him, and walked to the balcony. Dane was at a bus stop, leaning against a signpost, gazing at the bustling traffic and flashing neon lights in the bustling city. They told me that your relationship with the Chinese Dragon Emperor is very similar to our relationship, Dane said. I thought that maybe you would be willing to help us. In my experience, Zhi Xiaoduo said, relying on external help is far from enough. You need to search for that power of your own accord, whether it's redemption or rebirth. Dane remained silent for a moment, and then Zhi Xiaoduo said, if there is someone in this world who can give Lorcan a new life, that person must be you, and it can only be you. Xiang Cheng washed the dishes and answered Chen Zhen's call, asking him to go out for a drink. Xiang Cheng gestured outside, and Zhi Xiaoduo waved his hand, indicating that he wouldn't go. We'll be at the barbecue stall right outside, Xiang Cheng said. Zhi Xiaoduo said, go ahead ba, I can take care of myself. Xiang Cheng closed the door and went downstairs. Zhi Xiaoduo sat on the balcony, looking at the winter night sky, wearing headphones and still on the phone with Dane. Dane said, I've been thinking for a long time, and also about a lot of things, but our luck seems to be far inferior to yours. I know your dilemma, Zhi Xiaoduo said. But Dane, it's not a matter of luck, it's because you two seem to be missing something. Missing what? Dane asked. I don't know, Zhi Xiaoduo said. Judging from my past experience, it seems that you two, lack a kind of open-minded thinking about death ba. Dane. Zhi Xiaoduo laughed and said, perhaps because Chinese people place great importance on matters of life and death, it's hard to stand around and talk about it without hurting a part of me. Only you and the Chinese Dragon Emperor think that way, Dane replied. I want to live. If it's not for continuing to live, then why are we still alive? But in 5,000 years of culture, said Zhi Xiaoduo, life and death becomes much less of an obsession. Zhi Xiaoduo recalled Chen Zhen's words. The living are merely passing travelers, the dead return to their eternal homes. The heavens and the earth are an inn, for all our grief we inevitably return to dust. If life and death were no longer important, and people were so infinitesimal when compared with the vastness of the world, then what was the purpose of the cycle of life and death and the rebirth of the phoenix? The drifting wind does not last forever, the sudden rain does not last all day, and heaven and earth cannot last forever, so what about people? At that moment, Zhi Xiaoduo vaguely formed a thought. Perhaps the reason why you haven't yet found the firebird. Zhi Xiaoduo murmured, I think I understand now. What? Dane asked. Because they are not like you and the Dragon King. The two of you once set life and death aside. A gentle voice sounded, and Zhi Xiaoduo suddenly looked up. In an instant, the Milky Way in the sky turned as bright as day, with brilliant stars shooting towards the earth. The phoenix spread its wings and circled under the night sky, dragging the brilliant silver-white light motes flying towards the balcony. Zhi Xiaoduo stood up, his phone dropped to the ground, and he stared blankly at the night sky. That blazing and bright light fell on the balcony. "Sigui," Zhi Xiaoduo said, "I finally found you." Sigui shook off its wings and wrapped Zhi Xiaoduo in it, spreading its wings and carrying him into the sky. "Sigui." Zhi Xiaoduo hugged its neck. "The living are merely passing travelers, the dead return to their eternal homes." Sigui said, "Only by putting life and death aside can I gain my full strength." "Are you still the same Sigui as before? What do you think?" Sigui asked instead. "Zhi Xiaoduo." Sigui carried Zhi Xiaoduo as it soared higher and higher, reaching the top of the sea of clouds. The phoenix emerged from the clouds, and its cry echoed throughout heaven and earth. Hundreds of birds followed behind it as the silver moon shone brightly, shimmering and roiling. Sigui gently spread its wings, and the clouds and mist dispersed around Zhi Xiaoduo's body. "Are you still the same you today as you were yesterday?" Sigui asked in a low voice. "I think so," Zhi Xiaoduo said. "Although we can't step into the same river twice, I think we finally managed to trick you into speaking once. Obviously, the focus is not on this philosophical issue. Some people say that we, the Phoenix tribe, are born philosophers." Sigui's words carried a hint of a smile. "Could you always speak?" Zhi Xiaoduo asked. "N." Sigui responded. Zhi Xiaoduo asked, "Why have you never spoken to us before?" "Because I didn't want to," Sigui replied, "he that talks too much, errs often. Come on, get off." Sigui's body trembled, and Zhi Xiaoduo stepped into the air, nervous as usual. The phoenix's whole body was illuminated by the light, and he reached out a hand from the light and grabbed Zhi Xiaoduo's hand. Sigui transformed into a human, and Zhi Xiaoduo immediately stepped onto the sea of clouds. The sea of clouds condensed and lifted the two of them. Sigui's hair was red, and behind him unfurled a red robe that covered the sky. It flapped and fluttered in the wind, like a red lotus from 3,000 worlds, shooting into the sky in an instant, enveloping him in the flames. Then the flames engulfed the sky and turned into a young man. Zhi Xiaoduo. Sigui turned into a handsome man who was so handsome that it nearly broke Zhi Xiaoduo's brain. His skin was fair, and his facial features were extremely delicate, like someone had used the spiritual energy of the heavens and earth to carve a beautiful piece of jade. Black hair, black eyes, high nose bridge, deep eyes, all carrying a slight resemblance to Xiang Cheng. His eyebrows were trimmed, and his lips warm and moist, sparkling with starlight all over, with a breathtaking androgynous beauty. Among all the people Zhi Xiaoduo had seen in his life, the only one who could compete with Sigui was Fengli. He and Chen Lang were completely defeated by the beauty of this phoenix. "Yaoguia, can you let us humans off?" "You," Zhi Xiaoduo said. Sigui and Zhi Xiaoduo sat down on a huge cloud, and Sigui said calmly, "Are you very surprised?" Zhi Xiaoduo thought to himself that this guy was unbelievably hot. Sigui said, "Haven't you seen this person before?" "No," Zhi Xiaoduo said in confusion, "Isn't this your true face?" "The Yao race doesn't have true faces, Sigui. The heavenly Dao doesn't give us human faces, so we can only make our own faces and compare them to humans." "Your craftsmanship is really good," Zhi Xiaoduo admired sincerely. "You've made yourself so handsome." Sigui said, "I didn't create this. This was what Xiang Jianhua looked like." Zhi Xiaoduo's chin fell to the ground with a clang, but Sigui said, or rather, his appearance when he was young. "Xiang Cheng's dad was actually that handsome. But Xiang Cheng and him didn't look all that alike either. Zhi Xiaoduo noticed that Sigui's eyebrows and nose were indeed somewhat similar to Xiang Cheng's. He was a beautiful man when he was young, Sigui said thoughtfully as he sat on the sea of clouds, his knees to his chest, and looking at the moon. But later on, being blown around by the wind and having the sun blaze on him, he grew sturdier and became a rough man. Zhixiaduo laughed heartily, and Sigui also laughed. "Come back and live with us, Ba," said Zhixiaduo. "No," Sigui replied, "my Yao rank conflicts with Xiang Cheng's, so I cannot go to the sacred land." If both Sigui and Xiang Cheng were in the sacred land, these two super great Yao could form the auspicious combination of a dragon and a phoenix. Zhixiaduo was very reluctant to let go of Sigui. It had saved them too many times, and it can be said that their adventure also had a part of it that belonged in common with Sigui. "I also missed you very much," Sigui said to Zhixiaduo. "Since the day you brought Xiang Cheng out of the Mara fantasy realm, my mission has come to an end. Now, I want to make this place my home. I quite like it." "Okay," Zhixiaduo said, "I won't force you. Can I come back often to see you?" "Of course," Sigui replied, "it's not that I don't like you, but our Phoenix tribe has always been at odds with dragons. Although people often refer to dragons and phoenixes together, to the point where it has already been erased from your history many years ago, during the ancient time of the mountains and seas, we experienced a great war with the dragon tribe. You are very good, and Xiang Cheng is also very good, Sigui. But Xiang Cheng is a dragon, which means that we cannot coexist." Zhixiaduo scratched his head, feeling quite regretful. He said, "So, when Xiang Cheng is not around, I'll take you to the sacred land to look around." Sigui said, "It's not that I don't want to see him at all, I just want to avoid having too much contact with him." Zhixiaduo let out an N and leaned against Sigui's shoulder, as they sat quietly. "Thank you for saving me so many times." Zhixiaduo recalled the day when he had first met Sigui. "You're welcome. I've admired your courage and persistence this entire time." Sigui's tone was polite and unfamiliar, but Zhixiaduo felt a little warmth there. Perhaps with his long life, Sigui was like Fengli, long accustomed to an ancient inner tranquility. After a moment of silence, Sigui said, "So, I'll take you back now." "Wait a minute," Zhixiaduo hurriedly said, "I have one more thing I want to see you about." Zhixiaduo explained everything going around with Dane, and Sigui just listened silently. Finally, Zhixiaduo asked, "Are you willing to help them?" This would seem like asking for the impossible, but Sigui did not refuse. After a moment of contemplation, he said, "It's possible. Purify the devil chi, and after dying, the cry of a phoenix can awaken the soul of those who have fallen to the devil. Take this feather with you, and I will come to assist you when the time comes." "Will it consume too much of your strength?" Zhixiaduo asked. Sigui replied, "After being reborn, I have already passed 99 tribulations, so this is very easy." Zhixiaduo said, "I thank you on behalf of Dane and Lorcan." "You're welcome," Sigui replied. "Then I look forward to seeing you again." Suddenly, the sea of clouds transformed into mist and shadows, and Zhixiaduo immediately shouted, "Wait!" Sigui spread his arms out, transforming into flaming wings as he once again became a phoenix. He turned and flew towards the distance, while Zhixiaduo fell straight from the sea of clouds. Dash! The feeling of falling made Zhixiaduo's whole body jerk, and he suddenly woke up to find himself still on the balcony. "What's wrong?" Xiang Cheng returned with ice cream and rushed out to the balcony with a gust of wind. Zhixiaduo woke up from a dream and replied, "No. Nothing." A cuckoo bird flew over, stopped on the balcony, lowered its head, and pecked at the rice on the plate. It was not Sigui. Zhixiaduo lowered his head, only to find that he was holding a red feather in his arms. He looked up at Xiang Cheng and took out the feather. Xiang Cheng extended his fingers, but the phoenix feather's power resisted Xiang Cheng's approach. It was always here, Zhi Ziaduo smiled. End chapter.